Leeks are allium, so they are related to garlic, chives, shallots and onions. By tasting them, you can tell. They have a sweet, oniony flavor that adds depth to soups, stews, pastas and more. Leeks are long and cylindrical. You can eat only the tender light green and white bottom portion of the vegetable. It's similar to a very large green onion or scallion. But leeks have a mild onionish garlic flavor that's much more nuanced and sophisticated than an onion. Now, are you interested in growing leeks? Plant leeks in a sunny spot in soil that is fertile and well drained. They thrive in traditional garden beds, raised beds, or even in tall containers, so choose whatever works best for you. Space leeks in 6 inches apart when planting. Leeks need 2 things to thrive: lots of nitrogen and consistent soil moisture. Unlike onions, leeks don't produce bulbs but starch their flavor in thick, juicy stems that look similar to giant scallions. Leafy stems are pretty, and growing leeks doesn't require much room in the garden. And in the supermarket, leeks cost a premium. Harvested from the garden, they are a bargain. Our farmer today is going to guide you through the planting, growing, and harvesting of leeks. So let's get right into it.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Kilimo na Biashara. Well, are you one among those people who can't tolerate abundance of onions in your dish? Well, today I might be having a solution for you, because imagine we have various varieties of onions, but there are some that have mild taste, but they are great when you're preparing your soups. So today we want to explore one of the variety of onions that is called leeks. So join me in the farm as we explore leeks farming. Let's go. Irene!
Hello.
You guys have started before I arrive. Sasa?
Hello.
Thank you so much. How are you?
Very well.
This is where we start. We first plant.
We start from here. We plant the seedlings. From there we go and see the leeks.
All right, so even before we see the leeks, we have to plant.
We have to plant them before we see them.
Okay, I'm game.
I will get the seedlings and then we move on.
You have the seedlings?
Here are the seedlings.
Okay.
They're right here.
See ni kitunguu tu.
Yes.
But it's the family of onions.
This is onion.
So there are different varieties of leeks available for onions actually.
There are many varieties. We have baby onions and we have the giants.
So even before we start, Irene, how did you decide to grow leeks?
I decided to do the leeks because they don't have many issues on fungicide and insects.
Irene, I'm so curious, and I'm sure many people are curious as well. If these are not the normal onions that we see, then what are leeks exactly?
Leeks is a type of an onion that grows in cold areas.
So what is the difference between these particular leeks and the other varieties of onions like bulb onions and the rest?
These ones are easy to manage. The other ones are a bit tough.
When it comes to planting, what are the management practices or what are the preparations that one needs to put in place before you start planting?
I buy the seeds from the agrovet. From there, I make the nursery bed, and from the nursery bed, I plant them, I transplant. From transplanting, we start weeding. When you are planting the onions, you do the land preparation, you make the land, you put manure, but you don't put manure direct to the rows. You do it before. And then when you come to plant, you just plant direct.
So even before we go deeper into the other stages involved when growing leeks, tell me about this particular stage. What are the requirements at this stage?
You don't put fertilizer, you only use manure, but you don't put manure when you are planting.
Irene, so you put manure a day before you start planting?
When you're doing the land preparation is when you put the manure.
If I put it today, tomorrow, what's the difference? Why is it so important?
It's important because, okay, it's not a very heavy feeder because you don't give it direct manure.
Irene, right here I don't see any drip lines, but I'm sure it requires water. So ama hapa mnategemea mvua?
Tunategemea mvua, but when the climate is not favorable, we do irrigate.
So it doesn't need a lot of water?
Initial stages, yes, you need a lot of water.
Irene, leeks are quite unique. It is a unique crop. How did you decide to venture into leeks farming and not any other farming? What's your story?
I had the shamba and I wanted to change from what I was doing before. So the only plant I thought of to do was a leek.
What really drove you into growing leeks specifically?
It's simply because it's not so difficult to manage the leek. Yeah, that's what made me start the leek farming.
Have you ventured into other crops or is just this particular one?
I've done other crops and I'm still doing other crops.
Now show us how to plant. I'm so ready.
Okay, this is how we do it. We've done the terraces, yeah?
Approximately how many meters?
From here to here, it's 1 foot, yeah?
So you actually don't need to dig a hole when you're planting this?
You don't dig. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. These are 6 centimeters, 6 inches.
That is so easy. Let me help you.
All right.
It's just grown like normal onions.
Normal bulb onions. That's how we do it.
I mean, now, is there a favorable season where you say this is the season for growing leeks, or it's just normal?
Yeah, it's better when it's raining. Yes.
It's so simple and easy, Irene.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy.
Irene, but what are the management practices at this level once we've planted like this?
Okay, after this we give it like a month. After that we come and weed.
At this level, do they get affected by pests or diseases?
The only pest that you can see around is cutworm. We don't have any other pests. Yeah.
And now we are good to go, Irene. From here, where do we go to next?
We go to the nursery.
Do you have a nursery?
I have.
Okay, let's go. Irene, tell us what happens at this particular seed bed.
Once we do the seed bed, we start watering it. After watering, we mulch. We put the mulch. After the mulch, we give it 14 days to germinate.
I've noticed that this side you've mulched and the other side has a net.
Yes.
So for someone who cannot afford the net, can actually go for mulch.
They do the same work. They do the same thing. Yeah, you can use the grass, yes.
How long will it stay here before you transplant?
For 2.5 months.
2.5? That's quite a long time.
Yeah, it takes a bit long, but...
Why is it so?
That's how leeks are.
So after 2 months, what happens?
After 2 months, we transplant.
People have gotten used to consuming bulb onions and the normal ones, the normal that we see them in the market. But if you compare it with leeks, how is it?
I still prefer doing the leeks.
I'm still curious, how did you venture into this type of farming?
I'm born in the farm, born and brought up in the farm. So farming is something that I started from when I was still very young. I'm a secretary by profession. And then I worked for a number of years and then I retired.
You must have retired quite early.
Yeah, I retired early. And then after that, I went into business.
You know, when you say business, you know, this is Kilimo na Biashara.
Kilimo, Biashara. So I started the school. That was about year 2000.
What type of school?
It was kindergarten. Yeah. Then along the way, I realized I need to supplement food to the kindergarten. So I got into farming so that I can do the supplies to the kindergarten.
And from there, it became a full-blown business.
This is it.
Is it just leeks or you have also ventured into other crops?
I started doing potatoes, sukuma wiki, spinach, managu. Yeah.
But why did you decide to shift to leeks now?
I decided to leek because I realized leeks are easy to manage.
Irene, what are the advantages of growing leeks?
One thing is that leek doesn't need a lot of fungicides, and you only do pesticides once in a while. You don't need to do foliar. So that's why I say, and that's why I preferred the leek.
In all types of farming, I'm sure most of them are successful, but challenges abound. What are the challenges that you've experienced as a leeks farmer?
The biggest challenge is the market. That's the biggest challenge.
So from here, Irene, where do we go next?
Now we go to where we have the onions, the ready product.
I've been wanting to see that so much. Let's go.
Welcome.
Onions, raw leeks have a pretty strong flavor. But when they're very thinly sliced, they can be a nice garnish for soups, salads, roasted veggies, meats, fishes, or other dishes. Or you can also mix them into green salads, dips, or salad dressings. Now let me quickly take you through how you can prepare leeks in your kitchen. First, you'll need to trim off the roots and the dark green part of the tops, but don't throw them away. They are great for adding to stocks. Secondly, cut the leeks in half lengthways, then wash under a running tap, fanning the layers and rinsing away any grit or soil trapped between them. Drain thoroughly and slice as required. Now this is the best part. Leeks can be boiled, braised, or steamed. Sliced leeks should be cooked 5 to 7 minutes until tender but still firm. Top with a cheese sauce and under a preheated grill for 5 minutes or until golden. Leeks should never be browned or overcooked because it will turn them into slimy mush. Instead, cook them until they are tender. Now try that in your kitchen, especially when making your delicious samosas.
Welcome Welcome back to Kilimo na Biashara. Now, this is where the money is. These are the leeks that we've been talking about, but wow, I'm so ready. I want to see how it's harvested. I want to see how big it can be, and I want to know the dynamics involved in leeks farming. Are you? So let's join Irene to tell us more about these leeks. Irene, zimeiva. Let me see. These are big onions. Look at this. They are so big. It's a variety of onions, but well, these are so big. These are the leeks now. They're fully grown. The big variety of onions. But what did you do to ensure that you get nice produce like this?
You make sure you do proper management.
Speaking of management practices, what are those management practices when it comes to this level?
You make sure where you are planting is clean and it's fertile. After that, you plant, and then you keep checking if there is any pests.
When you say land should be fertile, how can one make land fertile? What do you do?
Okay, we apply manure before we plant.
And which manure is favorable for leeks? Because I know people can use goat manure, cattle. Which one is really good?
Yeah, we can do compost or farmyard manure.
So it takes 2 months, 2.5 roughly, before you transplant to this level.
Yes.
So here, how long will it take?
It's between 6 months and 5 months and a half.
So it takes 5 months. That's quite a long time. But now tell me, why did you decide to venture into leeks farming that will take you close to 5 to 6 months, whereas there are other onions that take fewer months to grow?
It's a management factor and the money factor.
Or is it the money factor?
Yeah.
At this level, Irene, does it get affected by pests and diseases as well, and how do you prevent them?
It doesn't get affected. That's why I prefer doing the leek, because it doesn't get affected by the blight, and it's an easy plant to manage.
With other crops such as potatoes, I know the spraying pattern is quite long. You have to spray it all the other time. How was it for leeks? Do you spray it more often, or how many times do you need to spray?
We don't spray any fungicide on onions like we do on potatoes. Yeah.
Irene, this is so important to many of our viewers, and they normally ask us, how much do you need to venture into a particular type of farming? When it comes to leeks, what is the starting capital, and will you need a big land or large tracts of land?
You don't need a big land when doing the leek. You start with a small portion and you move on. It's not expensive, because what you need is like the seeds you use for 1 acre goes for 2,000 shillings per kg. And then the manpower.
Irene, break it down for us. How much will I need to start leeks farming in an acre?
Let's say with 30,000, you are good to go. The manure will be something like 15,000. The seeds will be 2,000. Now, the manpower depends on the number of times that you do the weeding.
Irene, I know normally bulb onions are always in the market throughout the year. How is the market dynamics when it comes to leeks farming? How is the market? Does it sell? And where do you sell?
The demand is in Nairobi. So unauza kwa supermarkets in Nairobi, and we also take to wakulima market. They fluctuate. It goes between 120 up to 45 shillings. In the supermarket, they go for 120.
That's a good price, but where do you prefer to sell?
It's better if I sell to the supermarket.
Who is your market? Like, are Kenyans receptive to this type of onion?
The demand for the onion is high. Yeah, you'll always get a market.
Tell me, Irene, what do you like best about leeks?
It's the size. It's the size. It gets to be a very big size.
So once you uproot it once, it is done.
The beauty about the leek, you sell it the way you see it. You sell from the roots, the stem and the leaves. Everything is consumed apart from the roots. So from the farm, we sell it the way you see it.
Can you intercrop leeks with maybe beans and many other crops?
No, you can't intercrop leek. Yeah, you can't. It's a proud plant.
It's a proud plant, you say.
It has to be on its own.
But what can it be used for?
It's used for making samosas, and you can as well use it as you use the red onion. And you use the stem and the leaves.
Irene, so once you harvest these leeks, will you grow leeks again, or you have to rotate it?
You have to rotate. You can't put back the same crop you had. You keep rotating. You rotate with carrots, with maize, or something else.
What are some of the health benefits of leeks? Because I feel like it has a lot of nutritional values.
Leek is a gold onion. It has iron and it has calcium. At the same time, it's good for diabetic. It helps in digestion. It lowers blood pressure.
Yeah, it must be a good crop.
It is. It is.
Can these leeks be eaten raw?
Yes, it can be eaten raw because it doesn't have a strong smell. Yes, like the other onions.
What's the shelf life of these leeks? Because I know for onions, the other ones, but these ones, how long will it stay if I harvest?
It can last a week from the day you harvest.
How are the returns on investments? Because earlier on you talked to me about capital, but how are the returns on investment?
The returns are good, considering that 4 of these you make a kg. So you can get quite a number of kgs in an acre.
Would you say it's a profitable venture?
It is a very profitable venture.
So Irene, you ready? There's some that are ready for harvest as well? Okay, let's go. But before we harvest, now you know the basics. Takes roughly 5 months before you harvest. Doesn't require a lot of water until this particular stage. At the last stage, it requires a lot of water. But then you had the nutritional values and the health benefits. Now, let me show you how to harvest this. Let's join Irene. Irene.
Yes.
They are so big.
They're big, they're big.
But how do you harvest?
This is how we harvest. We just pull it like this.
Ah, so you just pull it from the ground.
You just pull it right from the ground.
I see this one is ready. Okay.
That's it.
This is so nice.
That's it.
Hey, Irene, and that is a lot already.
With this size, 3 of them will make a kg.
That bunch that you're holding, how many stalks can make a kg?
3 of them will make a kg.
And you said it's 45 shillings farm gate price for a kilo?
Yes, to 60
At
shillings.
farm gate price. So Irene, for people who wants to buy 1 stock, like 1 or 2 stocks, how much will it go for?
That would be 60 shillings, between 45 and 60.
Ah, that is quite expensive for one. When you buy one.
Yes.
So we harvest some more.
Yeah.
Okay. These ones are ready.
Do this one.
This one?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. Yes. Oh, Lida, I have something for you here. I want you to taste this with you.
Thank you. I go try it. And then I'll let you know how it goes.
And you let me know how it is.
Oh, thank you so much, Irene. Thank you for hosting us. And thank you for everything. And thank you for this.
It will be.
Wow, today I've learned so much. I've actually never used leeks, and I'm sure some of you have actually never tried leeks. It doesn't smell much like the bulb onions or the rest, but it's a very subtle smell, and it is so good when you're preparing your salad, when you're preparing your soup. It can make a very good soup, and many more. Thank you so much for staying with us throughout the program till the end. I hope you've learned something from today's episode of Kilimo na Biashara, especially these leeks farming. You might as well try farming these leeks as opposed to growing the normal bulb onions. Thank you so much, and my name is Linda Koskei. See you again next Friday, same time.